My name is Leia Jackson, and I happened to be death strolling through Facebook one day and came across an ad for to do a trial, and thought it sounded quite interesting, especially with my own struggles of weight loss and things, and decided it would be fun to trial and maybe be part of something that is hopefully going to be quite big in the future. I've always struggled with my weight ever since I was teenage years. Not exercising enough, not eating the right things. I find as well, which since everything I've changed my own way of dealing with my children, but in this country we're brought up to eat everything on your plate. You have to finish your food before you're allowed to have pudding. And it kind of ingrains overeating from an early age. So I've always struggled, and at my biggest, which was 3 years ago, I was 18 stone. And I was very active and I was doing lots of things, but I was still eating far too much. So, yeah. So some of the things I struggled with around my eating was boredom eating, especially of an evening, sitting in front of the TV. I also am a busy mum of 2 young children, so I would finish their food off of their plate before making my own dinner. And then often, because I work full time and look after 2 children, wasn't preparing healthy meals. It was quick convenience food, which is obviously normally higher in fat and things, although the market is getting better. But it was always quick convenience. I also, because it was a high convenience diet, they're all full of sugars and things like that. So I was always craving the wrong food. So yeah, it was, and portion sizes, because I was used to eating lots of food, my portion sizes were uncontrollable. So in the past, I have tried everything. I feel like that's quite a cliche answer, but I have tried everything. I'd done all the diets, the Weight Watchers, the Slimming Worlds, the intermittent fasting, the calorie deficit diet, the trying no carbs, keto, everything. I've always been relatively active, but I would also reward myself. Oh, I went for a run today, so I can have a chocolate bar. So I wasn't doing the greatest of like rewarding myself in a positive way. But I have used technology in the past. It is quite readily available, so I used MyFitnessPal, which is an app to log and track all my food. I have a Fitbit, which I did find that quite useful because it was able to track my steps, and I realised on days that I worked I was only maybe doing 5,000 steps, so I was able to then try and make myself walk more. So I have used lots of apps in the past and things for tracking and whatnot, but mainly just calorie counting. I did find using the apps okay to begin with, because you always have quite a lot of momentum and enthusiasm in the beginning. The apps, I also found they had tried to pre-populate things, so putting portion sizes in. It was a very easy way to lie to myself, because they had pre-populated the portion sizes. I was able to say, yes, it's 1 portion, where actually I was probably eating 2 or 3 portions. So the app, although it was there and helping me try and log my food, it wasn't as accurate as it could have been, because it was easily manipulated. So yeah, logging food on the apps is easy to do as a whole meal, like individual ingredients and things, but I would find that I would snack, or if I was grating the cheese, I might have a nibble of the cheese, and then that nibble of cheese wasn't necessarily added into the app. So again, it was quite easy to lie to myself and manipulate the data onto the apps and not quite get the desired outcome that I should have got. From a stress point of view, I have 2 young children. My youngest has additional needs, and I work, and trying to maintain a social life. So all the normal stresses that I have. I do try to manage my stress, but sometimes it's easier to comfort eat out of the stress, especially from a financial point of view. When I was in a little bit of financial difficulty, cheap rubbish food is cheaper and easier than healthy food. So I found that a lot of the time when I was financially stressed as well as emotionally stressed, it would be quick, comfort, easy food. I've always known that I should slow down my eating, but inhaling my food is probably what I would call it, is something that I struggle with and still possibly struggle with. It wouldn't even touch the sides. I wouldn't be savouring my mouthfuls. So yeah, I would eat very, very quickly. It was always one of my bariatric surgery journey, was one of those ones, it was always on the wish list. If I won the lottery, I would do this, this and this. And then I bumped into a friend of mine on a walk one day, and she looked absolutely fantastic, and I asked her what she had done, and she told me that she had had a sleeve procedure. And so I started researching and looking into it, and I then found that there was more options available, not just the sleeve. I decided that the mini gastric bypass would be a more successful fit for me. At the time when I was researching it, my BMI was 46. So I'm only short and I was quite round. So I qualified for a lot of the bariatric surgeries that are out there. I chose to go for the mini gastric bypass because it's a smaller operation time, a quicker recovery time, and having 2 small children, I needed to be up and running quickly. Since the surgery, my eating habits have changed astronomically. I can now only eat, at the very beginning it was a 150 ml sized portion or 150 gram sized portion. Now it's 3 years on, I can eat slightly more than that, so I can do between 200 and 300 grams depending on what it is. So soup, for example, I can do a lot more soup than I could pasta. So it depends what it is, depending on what I can eat. But for the most part, I now have to have 3 to 5 small meals a day. I have to have protein with as many meals as I can possibly eat it, and as snacks as well. And I can't eat and drink at the same time. I think about food more now after surgery than I did prior to surgery, but I think about it in a more healthy way now. So now I'm thinking about it as fuel for my body, and getting the best out of the food that I'm eating, rather than just mindless eating and throwing it in my face. Being part of the study and how I found that, the glasses were relatively comfortable. Once I got used to them, it was just like, I wear glasses normally, so it was just normal having them on my face. I found it quite useful being able to just click the button on the side and take the photo of my food. I found it very interesting, the real-time chewing function. I found it really, I would find that I would sit there whilst eating and watching, even though I knew what I was chewing and I knew how I was chewing, watching it on the data was very fascinating. And it did make me think a lot more about chewing more throughout the meals, or smaller bites, and all the things that I meant to do that I'd forgotten, all the silly little rules post-surgery. It made me redo them all, so it was quite fun. Wearing the glasses, nobody really batted an eyelid. It was, I wear glasses normally, and so they didn't see any different. They just thought I had changed my glasses style. A couple of people did ask, because they are slightly bigger than my normal style of frames. So a few people did ask, but for the most part, just people thought I was wearing my own glasses. My boss chooses chunky framed glasses as his preferred choice of style. So people just thought that I had gone for a chunkier frame, and that was it. One of my patients told me I looked like the lady on Scooby-Doo, the Thelma, I think it is. I can't remember which character it is, but the one with the square glasses. And I also got told I looked like Joe 90. So I think the future, the future of the glasses. For someone like me, I don't feel stressed, but maybe my body is stressed. I remember at university, they said how much stress is too much stress, and we had to go away and discuss that. And the answer actually is something like everybody's stress is different, and too much stress is when you can no longer cope. So I deal with stress quite well, I think I do, but I don't know the changes from my blood sugars or the changes that stress has on my blood pressure or the changes, because I'm not measuring those all the time. So if that's the sort of measurements that the glasses can come up with, I think it would be a really interesting added feature to the glasses. And I think it would make people a lot more mindful. I'm forever in my work trying to tell people that mindfulness and health, mental health, is just as important as physical health. And a lot of people disregard it because it feels strange for people to maybe, I don't know, do meditation, for example. That sort of thing feels strange for them, and they feel like the answer can't be that simple as just relax. And stress has a massive problem. It causes so many issues in the body, and the answer being as simple as you just need to take time out and breathe, that's sometimes a bit too much for people. So if you can see that data, actually, if I just sit here for 5 minutes and breathe, and you can see that physically showing you numbers on your phone, the benefit for that, it will be absolutely incredible. When I did look at them, the insights that the glasses provided, not only the chew time, which I personally found fascinating, but even the things saying, like when I had a bit of a naughty day and I had pizza for dinner and some little things that I probably shouldn't have had during the day, the insights kept me very honest. Your diet has had too much fat today. Try and eat some fruit. All right. I don't think I've ever been told off by a pair of glasses before, but it was okay. It was interesting, and that would definitely be something that, like I said previously, the apps that I've used in the past, they're easy to manipulate, and they're easy to cheat yourself into believing you're doing better, because it was all very there with the glasses, and there was no hiding it. The glasses knew when I was eating, so I couldn't have a cheeky bit of cheese without recording it. They knew when I was doing things, so I couldn't lie to myself, and I couldn't lie to the glasses because the glasses knew. So the insights then were, yeah, okay, you're right, I have been a little bit naughty today. But a little bit of naughty's okay, but not all the time. So the accountability that the glasses give you, I think, could be used on a wider scale. In the past, when I have done the slimming worlds and those sort of things, I find that they teach you to eat the right things, but not necessarily the right quantity of things. So having the insights that you could share with people, the ups and downs, because I mean, it is going to be ups and downs. It's never just a one-way trajectory. You're going to have your moments of weakness and your naughty days, and your binges and all that. You're going to have those because that's just human nature. But making sure you're back on the wagon, and having the friends or the support or a network of people that can say, "Ah, I saw you had a bit of a tough weekend. Do you want to go for a run together? Shall we get a healthy breakfast together so we can get you back on track?" I think it would be a very good. I like those communities on the apps that I've used in the past.